The first time I went to Crawford's gym, I about got stopped. So when I went in there, I got beat up. I won't lie. But after that, it just made me realize I still have so much more to learn and I'm still hungry for it. I want to be better. So I went back, grinded at my gym, went back again to spar. Did a lot better that time. And I kept going back and forth. And then finally we got to the point where we're I think I'm ready to make my professional debut. And I did that back in Omaha.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Legends Boxing Podcast. I'm really excited to have another guest in studio. This is Demetrius Alexander, and he is the current head coach at the Cottonwood Heights location here in Utah. So for those who are familiar with Utah, Cottonwood Heights is kind of a part of the Salt Lake City area. It's just a little bit away from Salt Lake City, maybe about 15 minutes east of it. And they've been around for a few years now, and he's now inherited. How long have you been head coaching over there?
So I have only been the head coach at Cottonwood since the end of April.
Yeah.
End of April. So I'm still pretty new to Legends.
Yeah, I remember you'd come into one of my classes at Bountiful before.
Yeah.
You were kind of scouting, to see.
Well, that's actually, I thought it was funny because I was just telling Kylan about it not that long ago. I remember I took that class and I was like, oh, yeah, are you just one of the coaches here? And you were just like, yeah, I'm just one of the coaches. And I knew, I was like, this dude's messing with me a little bit. He's got to have more stake in Legends than that. And then literally the next week, I saw you on the Legends podcast, on their page. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew there was more to this than just he's just a regular member.
Well, I mean,
coach
right then and there, I was just a coach right there.
Yeah,
that was it, just in that class. I was just your coach for that class. But no, I mean, that was, it was a pleasure to meet you then. Coming in, the way you worked, the way you were, it was obvious within just seconds. You knew what you were doing. Just kind of and I'm sure you know this growing up around boxing gyms, you can tell the way someone just carries themselves when they walk into a boxing gym, the respect that they have for it, kind of the hard work that they've been able to earn, as opposed to somebody who goes, I boxed, so I knew that right from the get-go. So it was actually really a lot of fun to have you in there. And then to as you've been a part of Legends, I've gotten to know a little bit more about you, but that's one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you in today was you're our first ever professional fighter. So for those who don't know him, I have him tell a little bit more, but he's a professional boxer, and I'm sure you came from amateur rankings prior to that, right? So he has an amateur pedigree and then went to a professional. So tell the audience, tell the people who are listening kind of a little bit about you. Where did you come from? Where you trained out of? What that kind of journey's been for you with boxing.
Okay, it's going to be tough to begin. So I guess I could say that, I actually have not always liked to fight. When I was younger, I have two older brothers that used to beat me up all the time, and so I kind of was raised in the fire. And then more when I started getting to middle school, that's kind of when I was like, okay, maybe I do actually like to fight. But I'm from a really, really small town in Nebraska. It's called Emerson. Shout out to Emerson. It's only, I think their population is 864 people.
Wow,
that's it. So when I say really small, I mean tiny. Everyone knows everyone out there. So me being able to go to a boxing gym wasn't really an option, because I think the closest thing was maybe an hour plus drive away, and my mom was just couldn't make it work for us. So I really got back into, and my dad was also an amateur boxer, but we didn't do anything too crazy. So I got, I would say, really, really into boxing when I turned 20. I went to college down in Lincoln, Nebraska. Shout out to the Cornhuskers. But that's when I got into Southside. Southside was one of the boxing gyms that was in there, and that was really my first introduction of that. And I won't lie, I got worked. They beat me up in there because I was like, oh, I fought before, I'll be fine on there. But it's totally different when you walk into an actual boxing gym and you have experienced guys that are in there that just pick you apart. So I would say I got beat up, but there's a lot of people that get discouraged when they go to a regular boxing gym and they go get beat up. Me, I was like, no, I want to be good at this. I have that mindset of I don't like to lose, and I don't like to not be able to do something. So in my brain, I'm like, no, I need to get good at this. I like this. Let me get really good at this. And so I was training there for about a year or so. And then that's when I got reached out to about working at a 9-round, which is a kickboxing fitness gym. And so that stems into like my coaching background. So I've been coaching boxing / kickboxing for about like 6 years.
Really? Okay. Now, how old are you right now? Currently?
27.
27. Okay. So back in your early 20s is when this.
Yeah, I was really, so like most of my 20s is really what my whole entire boxing / combat sports experience. And then like I said, I was training at Southside for a while. I don't have too crazy of an amateur pedigree, actually. I really don't. I only have a few like unsanctioned fights and then a couple, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, they have semi-pro fights. Mm-hmm. They're I did mine out in Wyoming. So what it is it's three 3-minute rounds and you have no headgear on and I think you have bigger, I want to say it's like 14-ounce gloves. So you definitely have bigger gloves on there. And like for people that don't know, like at my weight class, like super middleweight, we wear 10-ounce gloves on it. So the 14-ounce ones that have a lot more padding in them. And I remember my last semi-pro fight that I had out there, the commissioner of boxing, he came up to me. He's like, you look like you're ready to make your pro debut. Wow. And I remember he said that and I was like, maybe you're right. Maybe I think I am ready to make my pro debut. And then there was people coming up to me like after that fight that were like, oh, you look great out there. And then also in my brain, I was like, man, I just put on this good show. I feel like maybe I should start getting rewarded for me putting on this show. So it was a pretty easy transition for me to go into the pro ranks, especially doing those semi-pro fights because it's literally just one round less than a pro fight on there. And also during that time, I switched to, I guess you could say 2 gyms. I was working at P&G, which stands for like Patience and Grind, which is another gym that I worked at with Bill Green. Shout out to Bill. He's my guy. Bill does media and marketing for Terrence Crawford.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was kind of my in to going into B&B, which is Crawford's gym in Nebraska, actually. And that's another one of, it's another good experience. I would say the first time I went to Crawford's gym, I about got stopped. I'm not going to lie. Like because I was used to doing like, I've had hard spars and stuff, but I was just like, most of the time I'm working with guys and we're working on stuff. And there it's very much the culture of like, because he doesn't make anyone pay, which is awesome. Like you don't have to pay any memberships to go to B&B. All it is you better work. Yeah. Like you're going to work hard in there. And so like going from my gym, that was like, it's still a fight gym, but obviously not at that level of a fight gym. So when I went in there, I got beat up. I won't lie. But after that, it just made me realize I'm like, I still have so much more to learn and I'm still hungry for it. Like I want to be better. So I went back, grinded at my gym, went back again to spar. Did a lot better that time. And I kept going back and forth. And then finally we got to the point where we're like, we should like, I think I'm ready to make my professional debut. And I did that back in Omaha. I think it was like February 2nd. Yeah, February 2nd of 2021. Yeah. Okay. 2021. No, or 20. What is this year? 2023.
Yeah, 2 years.
2022 actually. Yeah, 2022.
So just a year.
Just a year. Yeah, just a year ago now. Yeah. And that was. Oh, it was awesome. It was like a dream came true. I mean, I had Terrence Crawford there. Amir Khan was also there because he was training at B&B for getting ready for his fight for against Kell Brook. Oh, wow. Okay. Out there too. I also got to meet like Keyshawn Davis. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a big prospect for Top Rank and stuff. So I got to see a lot of high level guys, and they were there for like my debut. So that was kind of a. That's pretty. It's kind of like a shot. I was kind of like, oh God, like this is my debut. I got world champions sitting out there. Like I got to perform, and I mean I did. I knocked the guy out in 1 minute and 40 seconds in the first round.
Congratulations,
man. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And then like obviously with all my friends and family there, like it was a pretty small venue, but it was nice. So it was you got to be really engaged with the crowd. So like when everyone was yelling and going nuts in there, like you couldn't hear a damn thing in there. So that was like my introduction into the pro ranks. So it's not typical for what most people do for their pro ranks. And even my second professional fight, that one was out in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Actually, and it was co-promoted by Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, cool. Right
So
on.
yeah, it's kind of a cool card. It was called Sons of Legends. So it was all sons of former big name boxers. So like, I got to meet like Shane Mosley Jr. I got to meet his dad, Shane Mosley. I got to meet Roy Jones. I mean, obviously Roy Jones Jr. was there. He did my pre-fight interview.
Oh, cool.
And everything. So that was really cool. It was kind of, I'm a huge Roy Jones Jr. guy. So like for him to be doing my interview, I was just sitting there. I'm like, this is not real. Like there's no way I'm getting interviewed by Roy Jones
That
Jr.
would have been so
right
cool.
now. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then like Roberto Duran Jr.
Wow.
was fighting there.
Who did you fight?
Gerald McClellan Jr.
Okay.
So I don't know if a lot of people know about him. His dad, Gerald McClellan, he was the G-Man back in like the 80s and 90s. He was
late 80s or
yes,
90s.
He was a monster.
Yeah.
I want he knocked out most of the guys that he fought. But Gerald McClellan, so his dad, he fought, I want to say it was Nigel Benn over in the UK. And they had a brawl, and there was an all-out war that they had. But at one point, he got head-butted, and I think it caused an aneurysm in his brain. And now I think he's paralyzed throughout most of his body from this fight. So that's like his career kind of got cut short. So that I feel like that's why not a lot of people know about him. I mean, I watch a lot of boxing, so I feel like that's even the only reason I even know who Gerald McClellan is. So that was my opponent out there then. I'm trying to think of who else. Oh, yeah, the main event was Mackenzie Morrison, which is Tommy Morrison's son, and then Rashid Rahman Jr. So obviously Rashid Rahman's son. So that was pretty sweet. I'm trying to think of all the guys that I met there. I mean, also Mike Tyson was sitting ringside.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool. I didn't really say a whole lot to him because it was it was right after that airplane incident. When that guy bothered him on the airplane, and he freaked out on him. So I was like, I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know. He probably has people fangirling for him all the time. So I was like, I'm just gonna go get a fist bump and move on. Sadly, that one I lost on a decision. 2 judges had it a draw. 1 judge had him up around. I thought I won, but it's Vegas. I can't complain. It's still a great experience.
Where was it at? What venue?
The Virgin Hotels in like their amphitheater.
Okay, cool.
That was in there because it was the same weekend as Shakur Stevenson against Oscar Valdez.
Oh, okay.
So that was pretty sweet. So I also got to meet Shakur Stevenson because I got to go to the Top Rank gym that's out there in Vegas and do like some bag work.
That's pretty cool.
And stuff that was in there. So that was pretty sweet. And
were they both 4-round fights?
Yeah, both of them were 4. Yeah,
and
both
the first
of them were 4
one
rounds.
only went a minute and a half. So
yeah.
So your first time going all 4 rounds was your second fight.
Yes.
Okay. Have you had any more fights since then?
No, I was just supposed to have one July. It was supposed to be in July. I want to say June 22nd, but the promoter ended up canceling the show. So I drove all the way back to Nebraska just to find out that the show had been canceled. He told us like a week before. And I was going back a week before. So, like, that's when I found out the whole show got canceled.
Long drive.
Yes, that's what I mean. And, like, I was pretty frustrated because I hadn't fought in a year. And so I was all jacked up, excited. I just cut a bunch of weight and everything. I'm amped. And then I get a phone call. It's like, you're not fighting this weekend anymore. And I'm like, awesome.
Right
cool.
on.
Cool.
Nice.
And then I just got and then I did just get asked again about a fight September 9th out here in Utah, but I get married September 22nd, so I don't think the lady would like it if I showed up to her wedding with some scratches and some black eyes. I don't think it would be great for wedding photos.
Well, you're probably right.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe like after the wedding, I will definitely like if I get one like December. Sometime around then, I would really like that. Like, gives me time after the wedding to like settle down and then get back into fight camp mode.
That's so cool. And I mean, I would imagine Legends is sponsoring the next fight that you're going to be at.
Yeah, actually, I have a pair of their new Legend shoes, like the prototype black ones on there. They're pretty sick. And then I have 2 pairs of fight trunks.
Okay.
On there, so they're pretty. I like them a lot, honestly. The shoes I really like. That is one thing. I'm used to like lighter boxing shoes, but even the prototype shoes, they're a little heavier than what I'm used to, but they're way more balanced.
Aren't they all leather and everything like that?
Yeah. I think like I just saw the top tier or the finished product ones. I think Robbie has like a pair of them now, and they're definitely heavier, but it's like the top notch. Rather, Rob was talking about. He said it's like the nicest leather that they could get for these shoes, and they're pretty
pumped for them. I mean, like I saw some prototypes of them, and then I saw Rob had gone down to St. George and had done a sparring clinic, and in the photos I saw he was wearing the white ones, and I'm like, dude, those look clean.
Sick. Yeah. Well, that's what he was talking to me about him, and he was like, we're gonna try to get you a pair of these, and I was like, awesome. Yeah. Because like right after I got the black prototype ones, I saw him post like a, what do you call it? Like a little sneak peek of the white shoes. And I was like, no, dude, I want the white ones. Like those are cleaner. Like I know I'd probably do better with the black shoes because I'm just going to get the white ones dirty. But
well, I mean, you got one fight. I mean, it's brand new. You get out there on the fight.
Just looks so
By
clean.
the end of the fight, if they're dirty, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
at least they were clean in that first round.
Going in, like it came out and it looked good in them too. And the other thing is I have this all white Cleto Reyes robe.
Oh, nice.
That I've been like waiting to break out. And I'm like, give me the white shoes. I can break them out with the white robe. It's going to be perfect. The perfect blend.
You're going to look good. Yeah. So, okay. Then we'll try for December.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about marriage. How long have you been engaged? When did that happen?
Okay. So me and my fiance have been together for about 4 years in October. 4 years in October. And our wedding is the September 22nd. We've been engaged for a year. Sunday, nice. August 13th.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Are you getting married here in Utah?
No, we're getting married back in Nebraska.
Nice. Is that where you guys met? Was in Nebraska?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. Like one of my best friends needed a roommate and did a random roommate, and my fiance Taylor was coming to Nebraska for graduate school, and just happened to match with like my friend on Facebook or whatever for the random roommates and stuff. And then my friend was like, you have to meet my new roommate. And that's when I met Taylor.
And all over from there.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Nice. Great, man. Well, congratulations. September 22nd, right?
Yep.
The wedding day. You guys going on a honeymoon?
We don't exactly have that planned yet. We've been kind of moving around a lot. I mean, we've only lived out here in Utah for also a year. Like we've only lived out here. We moved to Utah August 1st of 2022. So we're just coming up on our 1 year anniversary of even living out here in Utah.
A lot of things happen in this 12 months time frame. What brought you guys originally to Utah?
So it's kind of funny actually. I have one of my really good friends and her fiance, who's another one of my good friends. They moved out here 3 years ago now. And then one of her best friends moved out here 2 years ago now, and told her best friend told her how much she likes it out here and that we should at least come visit and check it out and stuff. And I was like, like why not? Like, cause I'm a big hiker. I like hiking ever since I was in the military. So obviously being out here in Utah, I'm like, it's hiking heaven out here. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, why not go check it out? Plus we were wanting to move from Nebraska anyway, just to get, like, I'd lived there for 26 of my 27 years of life. So I was like, I'm ready to change of scenery is nice. So let me get out of there. And so like we came and visited, we loved it. And we're just like, why not? Let's move out here. Like, why not? And then it's funny. Another one of my really good friends moved out here a week before I did. So just like weird timing that like we had friends moving out here and it was just like perfect timing for everything.
That is really cool. That doesn't really happen often to where you're moving to a change of scenery, but you're bringing the same scenery with you as far as like family and friends and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that made it easier transition for us because we're like, okay, we're actually going to know people out here. So it's not like we're going to somewhere completely foreign and we're not going to know where anything is out there. So that was a really nice thing for us to end up out here. And I mean, I've liked it ever since.
Great. So Legends, how'd you come across Legends and how'd that kind of happen?
So I literally was just scrolling on Indeed because I was trying to find something boxing related. I was like, I've been coaching boxing for so long. Like I would like to stick more to the training side of things. Like it's just my wheelhouse. That's like what I like to do for training. And it's funny when we came to visit, like a year and a half ago, I actually stopped at your Bountiful location, but I didn't know what the hours were because obviously I knew I'd never been to Legends, but it was during a time where it was closed. So I came in, checked it out, and I was like, oh, it's closed. Like, dang, never mind. But it's always been something that I was interested in. I was like, Legends Boxing. And I got online and started doing some research and stuff. And I saw, I'm like, oh, they do like a sparring program too. Like, that's pretty cool. But also they teach boxing for classes. So it kind of gives that I call it like the happy medium. Like, you get boxing for fitness classes, but then also if you want to like get into sparring and maybe even take like a few amateur fights, like we do also provide that avenue for you as well. So that was what was cool to me. I was like, we're really good to teach people actual boxing. Like, they're going to really learn how to box here, and we're going to do our best to make sure that they are learning their real boxing here, and we can even give them a place to test what they are learning here. So I did my research and stuff online, and then I was a manager at Vasa. I didn't love it. Oh. No disrespect to Vasa or anything. I just didn't love it. I'm too active of a person to just be standing at the front desk, like doing manager stuff. So I was like, I need to get out and move on there. And I got on Indeed and I saw that the opening at Cottonwood happened. And I sent over my resume and everything. And I got a very quick response. I think I was already coming down to do a workout like that same week. I think even like the next week I already done like a call with Kylan and Marianne and everyone. And then like a day after that, I even came down and met Rob on there, and that's what brought me on to the Legends team, I guess. Yeah. So it was pretty quick transition on here, but I'm still new to Legends.
Yeah, but you really have just kind of grasped the entire Legends culture. You can tell, like, from the first time you came in to take a workout to this last time you came in to take a workout to when we're at the sparring clinics to these types of things, like, you really have. You've just absorbed it so much that you can't tell that you've only been here for a short period of time. It's like you've been a part of the family for forever. And so, we couldn't be happier to have you, man. It's like a great pick for Cottonwood. Yeah. So now tell me a little bit about Cottonwood and what your experience of that is. How's that going? Do you feel like it's doing really well? And
yeah, I feel like last month we had a huge month that got us over to 150 plus members.
That's awesome
for Cottonwood's first time.
That's so awesome
on there. So that was pretty great. They were all very receptive there too. Especially, I got tested a little bit, is what I like to say. It's like anytime like a new coach shows up, definitely there's people that like were like, does this guy really know what he's talking about and that kind of thing. So I kind of had to prove myself to the Cottonwood members. But after maybe like a week or two, they were like, okay, this guy has been around a few boxing gyms. He might actually know what he's talking about a little bit on there. And then after that, it's been great. The class sizes have gotten a lot bigger. Shout out to my 5:30 and 7 a.m. classes. Those ones those are like they have been like my 4 p.m. classes. Because when I first started there, they were really small. Like I would have some mornings where I would only be there at 5:30 and I'd have one person. Yeah. And then at 4 p.m. I'd only have one person. Now, those 3 classes, like some of those days I have 10 plus people in those classes. So like those are like my baby classes. I'm like, these are the ones I'm really, really
Isn't that so cool to see though? Yeah, you should totally be proud of it. And I can absolutely relate, because when I first took over Bountiful, it was kind of the same thing, right? Like, it doesn't matter that even 50% of the people in the classes knew that I was the co-founder and everything like that. They were still tested me. They still tested to see, are you a part of our clique and our culture? And, you have to be invited in. And then once they knew, okay, yeah, this guy's, he's actually kind of laid back. He's cool. He knows his shit. Yeah. Then it's freaking awesome. And to see those classes go from one person, which again, sometimes having that 1 or 2 or 3 people is a nice switch.
It's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. You get to kind of, Kylan, if you're listening, sorry, but sometimes you get to deter from the workout and you get to focus a little bit more on some highly technical stuff, and you get to teach these people some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily have time to do in a large class of people. Yeah. So sometimes it's a nice switch, but yeah, for coaching, like the energy to have a large class, it's just a different energy. So it's really a lot of fun. So no, that's great. And that's how you see it, right? You see it from a coach's perspective of going, wow, these classes are getting bigger. The energy's getting so much better. People are having so much more fun, So like you can really hold your head up proud and go, this is cool.
Yeah. That was something, that was like a big thing for me too. And also just like I feel like I was received very well just from all the legends in general on here. And I always think to the belong aspect of like legends, like motto on there. That was a big one for me, like really showing like everyone like, hey, everyone is welcome in here. Everyone is cool. Like you can have someone like me who wants to fight, like trains to fight professionally, or you can have 70-year-old mom who just grandma that just came in here and she just wants to hit some stuff.
Exactly.
On there. So that has been like, that to me has been a really awesome thing to see. Is like just showing that like, hey, everyone can learn boxing. Like you might not be trying to step out there and fight, but you can still learn the basics of boxing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you saw that. That's, that's exactly what I started when I just started coaching. Let's show everybody that the fundamentals, the skills, the things that are required for you to be able to do in boxing are a learned skill. Yeah, some people are going to be able to learn it faster than other people, but it's still something that they have to learn, Like I use a lot of referencing when I'm coaching, and so it's things like when I'm telling you to move to your trail side, it's the equivalent of me telling you to rub your belly and pat your head, right? Yeah. Like you can do it, but you got to think about it, and then once you learn it and it becomes just muscle memory, then now it's like you don't even have to think, right? Sure. And so that's kind of that philosophy, right? And so I'm glad that you get that as long as we take our time, and so all the coaches out there that are listening to this, as long as you take your time and you learn your member and you learn their capability, their capacity, their rate of learning, how quickly they need to learn, then yes, every single person that walks in your door can learn how to box. They can learn the correct fundamentals and how to actually apply them. Doesn't mean they're going to get in the ring and actually do it, but they can still learn how to do it. So that's awesome. And you're hearing it from a guy who came from Nebraska that's in pro gyms that I'm sure the camaraderie between you guys was pretty heavy too. It was pretty high.
Oh, yeah. Like some of those guys that I trained with, like, they're my boys. Yeah. Like one of them, his name's Jordan. Like he's even in my wedding. Like, and I've only known him for like 3 years. But like, it's something about like grinding through practices and training and like being bloodied up and sweating together like that. That is a different kind of friendship that just gets brought on through there. So yeah, like some of my guys out there, I'm like, it's great to have, but now I can see that here with legends, and you don't have to get beat up and bloody. Right. Like you can just box together and do all the hard workouts and stuff together, but I don't have to get busted up. I don't have to get busted up on there unless I don't want to.
And then still go hang out at, places to go watch fights and run into each other at Dave and Buster's and go support Terrence Crawford. Yeah. That was a great fight too. That was a really good fight.
Oh man.
I didn't think the outcome was exactly how I knew it was going to be. I knew you were rooting for Terrence Crawford too.
Yeah. As a huge fan of his, obviously, I think he's one of the greatest boxers in the history of boxing. But obviously, I'm biased being from Nebraska and being at his gym. But
there's a lot of people that agree with that statement.
Yeah, even I didn't think, like, I firmly thought he was going to beat Earl Spence. I didn't think he was going to be like that, though. That just, to me, watching him dismantle Earl Spence like that really just, like, I'm glad everyone, like, the whole world could really see, like, he is that good. Like, this was a guy that you guys had in your top 4 pound for pound in Earl Spence, and Bud just tore him apart 9 rounds, and it shouldn't even, realistically, probably shouldn't even have gone those 9 rounds.
No, it was so one-sided. It was like Terrence Crawford was teaching Earl Spence a lesson, right? Yes. It's like, here, let me teach you a lesson about how experience is going to, wax you in this boxing ring. And I didn't really know much about Spence, but I've watched almost every Crawford fight. And even in some of his hardest challenges, he's kind of just bounced right back, immediately come through it. He knows how to adjust immediately for whatever situation's happening. And so, like for anybody who's training hard, working hard, if you want to mimic anything, hard work and how to do something, how to achieve something, how to see something through to the end, then follow Terrence Crawford for sure.
Yeah, he is a monster. I did one. I did one strength and conditioning workout with his actual strength and conditioning coach at the time, and I thought I was in shape until I did that workout. And I remember I cramped up in my sides, like my abs and my hamstrings and everything. And I had to like walk out of the gym like limping and holding my leg.
I thought I was in shape, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what, like it was different. I thought I was ready. I was not. But also me doing that though made me realize I'm like, if I want to be at a high level, like this is what I have to be doing to get to that high level. Like I have to push myself that extra mile on there.
Right. And then, I mean, that's cool that you have that relation to that, right? Like you can see that. And that's cool. I'm glad that you actually brought that up because like his strength and conditioning coach. And so I actually talk to people a lot of times about like our Legends workouts and those kinds of things and the way that they're kind of put together and the fact that they are designed to increase your ability to be a better boxer, to be faster, to be balanced, to be more coordinated, to, you know, be stronger. But like pros, like I tell them all the time, I'm like, well, a lot of professional boxers, not every professional boxer, but your high level boxers that can afford it, they've got a boxing coach and they have a strength and conditioning coach and they have a masseuse and they have a speed and agility coach, nutritionist and all this stuff, right? And it's a team of people that are helping them to accomplish their goal and get there. Well, Legends to a degree is taking a lot of that and putting it into 1 hour, right? We're giving you the boxing education, the speed and agility, the strength and conditioning. We are happy to assist you with nutrition and give you advice and those kinds of things, especially around a fighter's type diet and that kinds of stuff. So, you know, just for, you know, like, you know, I'm glad you brought that up so people who are listening, they can understand that Legends is really that well-rounded workout and conditioning drill, and you're going to learn the skills and stuff. And so, it's good that you brought that up. Is just for people to hear it from other than just me, right? Somebody else knows,
and that's I mean, I every time I do in the workouts too, like I'm dying. Like if you push yourself the way that you know you can push yourself in each one of Legends workouts, you will get results.
Oh yeah,
out of like it will happen. Like. What is it? Tyson's on roids with the twist. I remember the first time I did those. Yeah, the first time I did those, I was not ready. I'll admit I wasn't ready. Doing all those squat jumps over and over and over again. I was like, okay, this is tough. This is a little harder than I thought. But also just like going back to the strength and conditioning stuff, because I'm sure some members don't love doing like the strength and conditioning aspects of some of the workouts. And like, don't get me wrong, like. I would, if I could just box for an hour straight, like I would totally do just boxing for an hour straight. But I also understand that like I have to do my strength and conditioning. Like if I go out there out of shape, I'm gonna get beat up.
Right.
Like you have to understand that. Like I have to put in my hour. Like maybe I don't want to do my mini sprints that I had to do this morning. Maybe I don't feel like doing those. But I know that this will translate well to when I go into the ring and I just did 5 or 6 rounds and I'm not breathing heavy.
Right.
Anymore on there. So
and
like
that's the great point is that's part of the science behind it too, right? Like they say the sweet science of boxing. It's not just the strategy that you're putting into the ring. It's the strategy and the hard work you put into the gym before getting into the ring to prep yourself. Like those things have to be added. That's why I tell people all the time, boxing a heavy bag, hitting mitts, it's just not enough. It's not enough. You've got to put in the road work. You've got to put in additional strength training. You've got to put in your core work. You've got to, you know, prep your entire body for what you're about ready to go do inside of a boxing ring. And so, you know, listen to this guy, guys. If there's anybody else that knows it, it's, you know, it's kind of like your dad, you know, like your dad will tell you to do it, to tell your kid, and you're like, yeah, whatever. But then somebody else that you look up to and all this other stuff tells you to do it, and you're like, oh yeah, let's go do it. Even though it's the same thing your dad was telling you to do, you know? So I'm like the dad. So listen to Demetrius, guys, and let him tell you that it's all for that.
It's funny, I steal this from Kylan, but like his broccoli jelly beans. His broccoli jelly beans. Like,
that sounds just like Kylan.
Yes,
oh
his broccoli and jelly beans. Like the strength conditioning stuff and like the drills, that is broccoli. Mm-hmm. Like it's got to be the bigger portion. Like it's not as good. It's maybe not as fun, but like it's good for you and you do need it. And then you get your jelly beans on there, which is like maybe some mitt work, or I show you, like I give you something that is a little more advanced for people out there just to try out on the bags and
sparring, if that's something
or
you wanna
sparring
do, right?
on there. So I'm like, you have to have your broccoli, and then the jelly beans will be that much sweeter on there. Is that how I look at it?
That's great. I love that analogy. And on that, it's been amazing talking to you, man. I really have enjoyed learning. I appreciate you being here. Again, guys, please like, subscribe, shoot some questions to the both of us. He'll be able to answer some stuff too, and we'll send them over to him, and we'll make sure that he gets you guys your answer. If it's anything about professional and the professional scene, ask away. We're happy to. So like, comment, get interactive. If you're not watching, please get onto YouTube, watch, subscribe, follow Legends, and, get into the gym and change your life, because that's what we're doing in here. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.